friends, welcome back to the Film Alchemist podcast, the show where we take the movies we love, break them apart, to find out what gives them their magic. I'm your host, Josh Griffey, joined as always by my friend, co-host, and someone who needs all the help they can get,
Alex Dandino.
All right, before we start this month's exciting new curation, a little bit of business. People, it's official. Your friends here at the Film Alchemist are on Patreon. That's right, patreon.com/Film Alchemist Pod. The very best way to help the show, the very best way to make the show exactly what you want. We got an exclusive library of episodes over there. You get a vote every month on the 2 exclusive episodes you want. We do commentaries. You get to pick movies you want. We have mini-series coming, Q&A episodes, so we have a lot of fun stuff we're working on over there, guys. If you are able to, it means the world to us to have your support. For those of you who already do that, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who are about to, at patreon.com/Film Alchemist Pod, thank you in advance. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube Film Alchemist, see a video version of most of the pods, see our beautiful faces. Are just Meryl Streep cover model faces. Make sure you email the pod, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. Find us on all the social media you're on. We're easy to get a hold of. We love to hear from you, so go on, do that. And something free, easy, fast you can do to help out any show like us, make sure you leave the 5-star rating and review wherever and everywhere you find the pod. Help us defeat the algorithmic romance novels that be stealing our husbands out from underneath us. We'd appreciate it. Oh! Right, Alex. I did it. We did it. The pod did it. This month's curation. The pod done it. These are all films featuring someone trying to get away with a sinister plot. Not even sinister all the time. Just someone be plotting.
Someone be plotting. That's for sure.
You know that the person you're following has done the crime. We're going to spend the time to find out how they did it and how they got away with it. So our movies this month: Gone Girl, D'Oblique, Thoroughbreds, and tonight's movie, kicking off our curation, selected by our own Roseanne Barr, Alex Dandino. Old Roseanne, not new Roseanne.
Yeah, thank you. Let's distinguish.
Just to clarify, flannel-wearing Queen of TV Dandino. That's what we're talking about.
As I've found out, this is first season Roseanne Barr.
Tonight we're talking about She-Devil. Kind of a dark comedy of sorts. Roseanne, Ed Begley Jr., Meryl Streep. Again, I don't know how they just kept getting Meryl Streep to keep doing this Death Becomes Her kind of role. Where it's like, can you just be a vapid, like, attractive rich lady? She's like nailing it. But yeah, this is a simple tale, right? You marry young, you start a family, you think you're working towards the same goal, but your husband is a poon hound, and he's out running the town, right? He's Tony Sopranoing his way through all of the women of New York City.
The steno pool of New York City, yes.
That's right. So, Alex, why She-Devil? Kick us off here.
Well, for one, I knew we were never going to be able to find another way to curate this one, but also, I think this movie's got some fun legs, man. Like, It's got Meryl Streep in, apparently, I didn't realize this until I did the research, Meryl Streep in what is mostly regarded as the first comedy she did. Like, people do not count Manhattan, or there's another movie, Heartburn. There's another movie she did. This is the first, like, straight comedy that most people consider.
This is the one that got her Death Becomes Her.
This is the one that people were like, oh, Meryl Streep actually can do comedy. Very interesting. We all thought she was just a dramatic actress. Apparently, she also was in consideration to be the Roseanne character in this movie. That was the first spot.
When you told me that, it melted my brain.
Yeah.
Do you think, as I kind of do, this movie's way better if Meryl Streep is Ruth?
I mean, I think it's, I don't know about way better. I mean, I think, I mean, look, I don't think Roseanne Barr is like an Oscar-winning actress. I'll say that. But
Roseanne was great at what she did. The Roseanne sitcom is one of my top 10 favorite shows.
Roseanne's very good at what she does. I mean, like, to me, it's a different movie with Meryl Streep. Like, this is always we talked about this before.
I don't know if Ruth has the teeth that she has in this movie, if it's Meryl and not Roseanne.
I think Meryl Streep does a better foil than she would do, like, the lead in this case. Like, for one, we've seen Meryl Streep do that, like, put upon thing. And I think that that's a really important aspect to this. It's like, look, I know that you don't think Meryl Streep is
Kramer versus Bob Cratchit.
I know that you don't think she is prodigiously attractive, but compared to Roseanne, she is quite attractive. Well, you said that before the show.
Oh, sorry, Zuckerberg. I didn't know we were hot or nodding our way through this episode. Jeez.
I didn't say we were. I'm saying that you had told me before the show we were talking about this, and I think comparatively, like, I feel like it would be very difficult if she was Ruth, because this is the 80s, and, like, literally the entire top half of this movie is about, remember how ugly Roseanne Barr is? You're like, guys.
I mean, I gotta say, I hope that everyone in that makeup department felt bad.
Yeah.
When they're like, hey, can we make Roseanne unattractive? And they go, I don't know, here's a Spirit Halloween mole, have fun.
Yeah,
I was like, God, try a little, like, give her
like
some cover fire, man.
There was no, like, thought put into it at all. It was literally like, oh, what do we have around? I don't know. We got this malted milk ball. Should we just put it on her face and call it a day? Like, yeah, sure. I think it's very specific to, I'm not sure if it would be a better movie with Meryl Streep as the Ruth character. I actually don't think it would be. I'm going to say that now. I don't think it would be a better movie.
I like the energy Roseanne brings, man. When she turns on the, like, I'm going to get this motherfucker vibe, she's very good.
I think, too, the way the movie plays out, particularly, Roseanne's plan and the way she puts it together. Like, once it happens, that's the part that I fucking love. Like,
I do have to say, for this month, right, the pod done it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these movies have, like, elaborate plans covering up murder mysteries. Roseanne's is 4 points, 1 word per point. This is no Danny Ocean bullshit. This is just straight up what has to get done.
You could say here's the thing. The pod done it month really is about, like, we all know what crime she committed. You could say we all know she committed insurance fraud and she got away with it. But, like, who's gonna not believe her?
She also was embezzling and fraudulent when she fucking set up Ed Begley. That's a crime as well.
She definitely committed wire fraud, which was a little weird. I'm
this
not gonna
movie,
lie.
You don't feel bad for the victims. These are essentially victimless crimes.
These are victimless crimes. Like, Meryl Streep's a bitch. Ed Begley Jr. is just an insatiable poonhound.
He's the alpha douche. You remember in Godzilla King of Monsters where they're like, there has to be one alpha and all will kneel before him? Yeah. Ed Begley Jr. is the alpha douche.
Ed Begley Jr. is, like, way up. Like, I after watching this, he's, like, way up there on the, like, we have that, like top 10 worst dads in movies. He's up there now.
I would say he almost is disqualified because he never is dadding. He's just dicking.
Dicking, yeah. That's a good point.
Just dicking, not dadding. Ever.
Maybe that's what makes him the alpha shit dad then. Maybe because he's not dadding, he's just dicking.
That could be. I think you could argue if he was around more, there'd be more trauma to the kids, so maybe he's better. I don't know. It's bad. It's not good. It's not good.
The part that I always go back to is just like, oh, you total douche, is like the scene that, like, sparks the whole thing is the family dinner where they're all sitting down and she bakes the fucking gerbil, which is the grossest.
Roseanne bakes the gerbil, yeah. I gotta say, it starts a little before that, because that is the peak of Ed Begley Jr.'s doucheness in the movie, right?
Yeah.
The one, because they kind of do the, like, he's almost for, like, 5 seconds, right? It starts the, some women are born beautiful. Then there are those who need all the help we can get, right? And that's me. And we watch this, Roseanne, that first close-up of her face, I was like, Jesus. God, they were cruel to her, yeah.
Yeah.
She's trying to dress on, whatever, right? She's excited to go hang out with her husband. She calls him. He looks like a normal doofy accountant. And then all of a sudden, some tits get near his vicinity. He's like a cartoon dog floating to a smell,
He's
right?
It's like Jim Carrey in The Mask when he turns into the dog and the dog. Yeah, absolutely.
And so he's kind of a dip, whatever. When they decide they're going to drive Meryl Streep's ass home, right? Roseanne spills on her. And he drops Roseanne off at the start of the hill, the neighbor, and she's like, it's fine. It's only a couple more blocks. and he drives off to go into like the steamy Walmart cover scene.
Yeah.
I was like, that right there is such. It's almost unrelatable. You're like, no one is that.
Yeah, no one's
much
that
of a scum.
I think the other thing too is like no one's that obvious. Like clearly he's gonna go fuck Meryl Streep after this. Like no one. But I think that's what makes. It's
Ed
interesting.
Begley Jr. is not a man. He is a living sentient hard-on in this movie.
Yeah, like his. Well, I think what's interesting about the beginning of this movie is like the hardened psychology of this film is like she knows that Ed Begley Jr. is a dick and just like perpetually a hard-on. Like there's nothing shocking to her about it.
Yeah,
but it's not that she lets it happen. That's not it at all. Like that's no. She literally just like. She can't prevent it though. Like she's not like he's such a willful piece of shit that it's just like
they have set up the relationship, and this is what a lot of bad partners do. The power dynamics have shifted. I will go work and make all the money and hold that over your head.
Right.
You will stay here and do all of this thankless jobs, right? So I have the excuse, I gotta work late, blah blah blah. When she's just at the table and the kids are just like giving her guff, right? You cut back to Ed Begley Jr. is like getting it, and she just does that monologue, right? My husband is having an affair with Mary Fisher.
Yeah.
She thinks she knows my husband. I know my husband. He's in a phase, right? I know how to get him back. I'll be waiting for him.
Right.
That's a monologue of someone who's been down this road before.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about this movie is they never all the way get to why this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
That sets it off, and it could just be because she writes the novels that Roseanne's character reads for fantasy, right? But this is a woman who hits her end, right? She's cooking a family dinner for his fucking parents. He's out there fucking clapping cheeks. He runs back, and he just comes in like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? She's showering, and he looks at her, and this is the line of the movie, the fucking where you're just like, this guy's the worst. She looks fucking mad at him. And he goes, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm about to weigh myself." And he goes, "No wonder you look so sad." And you're just like, you motherfucker.
Dude, yeah.
That's not what I say to myself in the mirror. I would never say that out loud to another person.
He says that to her and then follows it up by like, "Oh, none of the food's ready." Like bitching at her. Like I'm like, bro, you have not been home. You've been out beating cheeks and you have the balls to step in. Then
balls.
I think that's the 10-minute block in the movie where like, okay, we're really solidifying like we have to hate Ed Begley Jr.
He's
like
telling his parents why the woman he's fucking is so great as he's yelling at her for only having like a snack tray out.
Right. Like having that having that actually I would go beyond because like he says that horrible thing to her where she's weighing herself. I would say like the capper is them at the dinner table and he's describing like Ruth and I have a very healthy relationship, like this bullshit line. You're like, and then the mom's like, "When did you marry such a sensitive man?" Like, no, fuck you.
How about when it all goes south because she fucking bakes the kids gerbil in
Yeah.
the casserole? As it starts going south, she literally says in front of his parents, "He's having an affair on me."
Yeah.
Ed Begley Jr. whips his belt off. Like he's about to fucking smack her around with his belt. With his fucking parents. Dude, if I did that in front of my parents, my mom would rip my face off.
Oh, yeah.
If I took my belt off and she actually thought I was going to do... Like, my mom would murder me. So now you're by proxy like your parents are pieces of shit.
It was such a weird
they're just like,
thing.
"Hey, lay off, son. Lay off."
The belt gets whipped out and they're like, "Hey, come on now." It's like, "Excuse me.
I know you watched me do this to your mother 500 times, but...
I know this is a super cool thing to do as a husband, but
what a dirty rat bastard.
Dude, seriously.
They really spare him no punches. So by the time Roseanne goes full shedevil,
yeah.
You're like, all right, this is a rooting for carnage.
Highly
movie,
justified.
Right? This is a monster truck rally of a movie.
Okay, I got to ask you this. Now, this is like this movie magic thing that's always... Magic's not the right word, but it's the only way I know how to describe it. It doesn't take 30 seconds for a microwave to explode and blow up the house if you put 10 cans of Raid in it.
Yeah, you didn't like the layout of she's like still doing her makeup in her house.
I'll be honest. The timing did not work out for me.
Well, I was like, you also already lit the whole house on fire. Like, you don't have to light the house on fire 8 times.
Yeah, we're just like we're really we're just going through the motions at this point. I didn't know
that leads to the back projection explosion shot.
God
I love
bless
that
it,
beat,
dude.
man.
Me too. I'm so glad
that
you said
shot.
that. I love that bit.
Hey, man, however you want to fucking burn it down after
not?
Ed Begley Jr. fucking does that to you, more power to you.
Now, this is the thing that I like the most about the plan. Like, so now she's committed insurance fraud. She drops the kids off at
Only
Mary
if she
Fisher's.
asks for the money.
Well, that's true. That's why she doesn't. She fucking goes.
She
basically,
makes
she
Ed
like
Begley Jr. do it.
she drops the kids off at Mary Fisher's chateau, and she fucking basically goes on the lam.
Yeah.
And somehow, now this is where the makeup department came back in. They're like, "Hey, how do you make her look infinitely worse? Let's give her a bit of a mustache along with that gigantic mole, and just pull her hair back, and make her a nurse in a nursing home, and make her the most homely. Let's make." Of all the actresses we could put in there next to, let's have Linda Hunt be in there and make Roseanne Barr
call the team from Matilda. We need a Trachtenberg or whatever that fucking mean teacher's name was. I actually liked the nursing home thing. I thought that was
the nursing home
fucking
stuff.
hilarious. The scene when she gives them all uppers. Because this thing,
God.
man, this whole movie's about awakening from bullshit, right?
Yeah,
the bullshit
absolutely.
that society piles on you, right? Oh, you got a husband that says you're just a stay-at-home mom, right? You're there to serve his needs while he's out getting it wet everywhere.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Wake up. Burn the house down. Start again. All these old people who've just been left by their kids so they can go get dicked down by some fucking Ed Begley Jr. She
Right.
wakes them up and they're playing soccer. They're loving life. When she gets fired and leaves, they're fucking high-fiving her and loving her ass.
They love her.
And I just thought that was cool. Everywhere she goes, she's just surrounded by all these people that have this same miserable story, right? No one sees any value in me. And she becomes this fucking Spartacus for the undervalued.
That's a good way to put it.
The other nurse literally quits her job and runs out and goes, here's my fucking life savings.
Yeah.
To war. It's like, yeah.
Gives her fucking 55 G's to start her own business. Good
And they
for
start
her.
their own fucking power business. And that... I like that part of the movie, right? Because I was telling you, this is one of the most mean-spirited movies I've ever seen.
Oh, I mean, by far.
It's just hard to really get behind anything that's happening in this.
Yeah, I mean,
you hate Roseanne the least.
Other than knowing that Ed Begley Jr. deserves all his comeuppance, everything else was just like so mean-spirited.
Yeah. But even Roseanne, it's like, so you have a kid who has rats at the table and just stabs holes in random milk? Like, that's not good parenting.
No, that's terrible.
So you're like, there's really just nothing going on here that's like getting you rah-rah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that nursing home bit, I was like, that's kind of the massage you needed, right?
It is.
Kind of the massage you needed. I'll tell you the other beat, the moment where I fell in love with Roseanne's character enough, because you kind of get this weird like, oh, she just said fuck them kids. Fuck all of them. You're like, her kids were kind of assholes. Like, I get it.
Sure.
But the scene when Meryl Streep's getting interviewed, right? And they have a spread in the paper or the magazine.
God, yes.
And Meryl Streep has a picture with her two kids. And Roseanne's now like a CEO, right? And she pulls out her own picture where her eyes are closed.
Yep.
And there's just this tight shot. And I was like, Roseanne is giving me what I need, right?
Throwing
She's
down
giving
a
me
little
the
bit,
raft
yeah.
to like, oh my God, is this mission of destruction worth it? Like, these kids are with, I don't have my kids. I don't have anything left.
Yeah.
Except for this all-consuming
They do
she-devil
give her-
fire, the fucking, burning across. I thought that scene was really
They
cool.
do
Like,
give her some nice pathos there. Like, I like that. That is a good payoff.
you
of,
buy
like,
into her by the end, I think.
You do. And I mean, like,
Which
think
seemed impossible about 40 minutes into the movie.
like, you drop the kids off, and I think, like, because I think about, like, my wife and me going to work and that kind of shit, and you're just like, it's not outside the realm of possibility to drop your teenagers off and be like, I'm going to go. Like, I've put all I can into this, and I'm very tired of you guys, like, kind of taking me for granted.
As a kid who literally got left on a porch, it's super easy, apparently. My dad came over one weekend and just said, nah. Him and my mom disagreed about something. He just went, and just was gone. So it is that easy.
I also like that
easy.
Roseanne gave one look over to Garcia, the gentleman who runs the house, and she's like, this guy seems like a decent influence, and left.
Here's another underappreciated.
We have not even talked about Garcia yet.
We'll get to his fucking his ass, old Garcia.
His
I don't know.
ass.
I actually gotta say though, I thought Roseanne was she gives this performance where she just knows. She knows her level. We talked about this a little bit with Ice-T and Surviving the Game. Mm-hmm. You're not a traditional, person who came up through like acting school. You don't have all these craft tricks to fall back on.
Yeah.
You're a celebrity and people love you for what you do. Now you're trying something different.
Right.
And Roseanne gives this pretty good measured performance, right? I know where my lines are. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, that scene with the picture, she's not like, I'm going to fucking turn it on. I'm not going to be like, what's her name, Jessica in True Blood, and just weep through every scene. Like, I'm going to pull my punches, right? And she gives you what you need.
You know where she does a really good job of like, not just those like smaller quiet scenes, but when she's playing off Meryl Streep's mother, Sylvia Miles.
Yeah.
That scene where she convinces her to like go to Mary Fisher's chateau. That is like,
yeah,
you're like, okay, like she's getting the assignment. There's no question. Like, again, like you believe Roseanne Barr because I think this is the other part too. And tell me if I'm wrong, but like, I think because Ed Begley Jr. and Meryl Streep are like so high up here with like the melodrama and the not comedy,
they're
but
both
just like
so like bleach blonde. Yeah, I get what you're saying though.
They're so bizarre.
Yeah.
That compared to Roseanne's journey, Roseanne, it's the same reason like we like seeing comedians do dramatic roles because like comedians drama feels real. And I think when you see Meryl Streep and Ed Begley that are just like straight up melodrama, like hilarity ensues kind of thing, when you see the story that Roseanne Barr goes through, it's so much easier to kind of relate to. And I think that's what makes her kind of in the same wheelhouse as Meryl Streep in the movie. Cause like, again, like they're never on screen together, but you think about it, like Meryl Streep could blow all these guys off the screen because of just who she is.
There is something about Roseanne's journey, right, in the movie where you're like, it's not that hard to be like, see what drew Roseanne to this, right?
Right.
These fucking blonde, perfect, rich Hollywood assholes, right, in charge of her destiny. Looking at her like, as Ed Begley Jr. at one point when he's yelling at her, he goes, I don't even know if you're a woman anymore.
Oh, dude.
What the fuck?
Like, bro, what the fuck, man?
And so you're like, I'd imagine Roseanne went through some of that, right? These fucking people, like, if you did this or tried this or lost the weight, right? Like, all that kind of shit.
Fucking Tom Arnold.
Well, some things are worse than death, but you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. I actually thought she was fine in the movie. Let's talk about Meryl in the movie. Let's talk about Meryl,
please.
Right? I thought she was wonderfully zany in this movie.
Yes. Whatever that thing she does, like, I mean, the best is, I think it's at its finest when, the two moments she does the best is when she comes home after seeing like the expose that they write about her in People, where her mom like dimes out that she like gave up a kid for adoption and like all these other terrible things that she doesn't want anyone to know, like what her real age is and that kind of shit. Like flying off the handle Meryl Streep for comedic purposes. I don't know why, but I think it's just fucking hysterical. Like,
yeah,
this death becomes her. Like when she does that bit,
when she's laughing at him in the circle bed.
Oh, and she's like making
fun
of her being
an accountant. You're just an accountant. And he goes, accounting could be very creative. She's like, ah! And it's such like a perfectly timed reaction.
Dude,
she's great, man.
She's so good. And again, like I do like the voiceover thing that Roseanne does. She's like, oh, I love that beat though, because it is this explanation. She's like, oh, now she's Roseanne. She's like me. She's where
Ruth
was.
Chris Rock joke, right?
Yeah.
You show me any person on earth, and I'll show you who's tired of fucking them. Right?
Not wrong.
This is not a movie about a guy who just traded up,
right?
Because this woman's wealthier and prettier, whatever.
Right.
This is a movie about you'll never be good enough for some guy like that.
How fucking hilarious though that what precipitates that scene before she starts doing that. I fucking die laughing every time he goes, hey, honey, maybe I just stay, a few nights in the city. It's not that drive gets real scary. You're like, dude, are you serious? You are doing this again. God bless it, sir. You have got to just, again, he's just a walking hard on. It's impressive work. Like,
but see, watching her go through, I'm still in the, nice white clothes and have the butlers and whatever. But watching her, like, her nice room now has this weird TV in the middle of it that's showing Glow Wrestling. Watching her, like, freaking out, trying to run around. Seeing when her fucking poodle jumps off the fucking car.
Oh, my God, dude.
But she's just really, it's fun to watch her come undone.
Yeah.
Like, she does that really well in this movie. All right. Meryl's great. No one needs to hear that. That's not a news flash.
Everybody knows Meryl Streep's great.
Let's talk about this absolute piece of shit, Ed Begley Jr. Like, what a wonderful performance, because all I want to do in the whole movie is reach through the screen and strangle him.
Just want to beat him to an absolute pulp.
Yeah. That scene in fucking, what was it, Sin City, where he's like, I just kept punching until it was a yellow pulp. Yeah. It's like, that's what I want to do to Ed Begley Jr.'s fucking baby blonde head. Just fucking punch holes in it.
He just has so many.
How about this scene? When Meryl Streep writes a book about him and doing laundry, because she has to do his work for him now. At the table where she's getting no one to come get their book signed, he's just reading her shitty review to her out loud.
He's just reading the worst possible review.
The negging this guy, I mean, he's like the Miyagi of negging. Like, it's unbelievable.
I love how he's just reading the whole thing. And, I mean, like...
Dude, at the lunch with her agent, where the agent's like, this sucks, don't do it. And what kind of name is... She goes, I think Bob's a beautiful name.
Bob's a beautiful
Meryl Streep's character, who we're led to believe is this just empty man-eater at the start, has actually fallen for this motherfucker.
Dude.
And he's just trash-talking her right to her fucking face. What an absolute piece of shit, man.
I mean, I think the other part, too, I've never read a review that hateful. Like, and granted, I don't read book reviews or anything like that.
Oh, dude, yeah.
The review is literally like...
Letterboxd, any of those, yeah.
Well, yeah, Letterboxd is different. Like, professional reviews, I've never read one. Like, the wording of it is literally like, well, this made me want to vomit. Like, those kinds of things. You're like, God damn, dude. Like, and reading that at the book signing, you're like, Jesus Christ. You are really just going for it. I also love, so, and again, it's the simplicity of how stupid he is. When she slips the ad for her, when Roseanne slips the ad by his door, with just like a sexy lady on the front cover. Ooh. He's like, ooh. And the next shot is him calling. And his description, it's like, yeah, I just need someone who's understanding of finance, understands processing invoices, and I don't hate attractive ladies. I'll say that. Like, dude.
I love that, because imagine being his ex-wife on the other end of that call and being like, I fucking knew it.
I knew it, you
forever.
Fucking dickhead.
But that's great, too, because she just goes, what was her name? Honey was too good to be true.
Olivia Honey.
Yeah, Olivia Honey was too good to be true. Just sends that woman in as a heat-seeking missile. And that shot, this is a great Ed Begley Jr. thing, right? When he's like plugging the stuff in. And he's like, and it's like he's drooling all the way up her entire body. You're hired. And I was like, that's like a live action Goofy cartoon. And it's great. And I love the scene. He knew exactly the assignment for this movie.
Ed Begley Jr., like, there's another line that just fucking kills me, because it's just such a, by the end of this movie, he's just such a fucking douchebag. Yeah. But the line that I had to pause it today. I don't know why it makes me laugh, because it's just like the stupidest throwaway line. But when they're after he gets busted for embezzling, and they're doing this whole, they go to see his lawyer. They're on their way out, and they're by the elevator, and she's like, inadvertently, the lawyers revealed that he totally fucking stole $200,000 from her.
The biggest theft was from her accounts, yeah.
Right. He's standing out there, and he's just like, how'd a bum like me ever get mixed up with a girl like you? You're just like, oh my God.
But that's the thing. He talks to her like a character from her shitty books.
I know, right? Oh, shit, you're right.
And she has to confront it, and by the end, she's writing like non-fic.
She's writing like a nonfiction book about it.
She hates it so much. She's like,
it's betrayal.
Yeah. Because at the start, she was like, my books are fantasies. They teach women how to get men what they want. And by the end, she's like, ew, gross. Fuck this.
Yeah. By the end, she's like,
bean.
I fucking love The very end when she's doing the interview with Sally Jesse Raphael and her like hair slicked back and shit.
Now
So
she's
great.
serious, yeah. Dude,
Yeah, she's
it was
serious.
just nice to see Sally Jesse Raphael again.
I didn't know she was blonde ever. I thought she always had that red hair. Because like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that was like a big thing in my household. It was kind of
when you came home from school, right? Like if you got home from school, that was always on before cartoons. That was what I remember.
Yeah, I remember it a lot. Like when you're at summer break, right? Like mom would be watching every time we had to go to like a tanning salon or hair salon.
It's
Sally
like that
Jesse
or The
Raphael.
Price is Right.
Oh, if you were lucky, yeah.
Jenny
But
Jones. Jenny Jones was the other one you got.
Yeah. I remember her. Ricky Lake.
Dude,
There were a lot
Ricky
of good
Lake,
ones back
A
then.
lot of good ones. All of which definitely watched She Devil and like, yes, this. Ed Begley Jr. is so. So we do this whole like he does that stupid fucking like Humphrey Bogart impression line. She goes home, or no, wait, is that before?
You just skipped over like one
I'm
of the
sorry, I
funniest
skipped
Ed
o-
Begley Jr. things.
Yeah, my bad. Hang on,
Is that your office fucking fantasy?
oh, dude.
Is to play like Quidditch on rolling chairs, and then just get like the most lo-fi black and white butt scans? Like that's
Also,
it. That's why
it?
you're throwing away everything. I think that's important though. That's how little it takes. That's how little
that
it
terrible. Yeah, like and not knowing to take off. Don't photocopy your signet ring, dude. Come on, you're better than that.
Because he's unfuckwittable, dude.
That's true.
He's a powerful man. He can't be touched.
They send that though. They send that to her. It's also after he's negged her at the fucking the fucking
Here's
book
something-
signing.
I also love they do this small thing where like 3 of those scenes after Honey Boo Boo arrives or whatever,
Yeah.
he just has lipstick on his neck or cheek,
Constantly.
just in fucking plain sight.
Yeah.
Always. It's almost
Always.
never addressed. Meryl Streep doesn't address it.
Okay,
But no, so
when it-
Meryl opens that photo and it's like his fucking hand on a butt.
yeah.
She just goes, "You motherfucker," and he just immediately guns the car. He's like, "Uh-oh." Like he so quickly knows.
He
There's
knows.
not even a wait, what happened? What am I accused of? Immediately launches into like, "Oh, I fucked up. I'm so sorry."
She walks in and does this is the second like great Meryl Streep bit where she walks in and she's like, I'm taking control.
Smacks
of my
his
life.
fucking kid.
Smacks the
The
girl
son
who
is
was
getting champagne drunk with Granny.
yeah.
Garcia has dressed the underage daughter up like Meryl
Yeah.
Streep.
Garcia's doing an R. Kelly, which is a little awkward.
Yeah, a little much.
I mean, a lot awkward.
I
Not
get
great.
when Meryl pulled the knife on him and said he's fired. That's a
yeah,
fireable
that made
offense.
sense to me. That's very fireable.
But then she smacks the daughter.
But and this is when the little boy
It's such
when
a
the boy
hateful movie.
when the boy vomits right after she gives the I'm like, this is great. This is a beautiful scene. There's nothing funnier than this moment right now. Like I do like when he's in the courtroom and he gets so we finally like get to the courthouse and the whole time the lawyer's been like, yeah, don't worry, we'll get this white guy and he'll be totally cool. And like in the courtroom, they're like, do we take him out to Peter Luger's afterwards or what are we doing? Like, I got to buy him steaks. They walk in, Rose has gotten him one more time, and it's that 80s thing where you're like, oh, well, I know, like, it's like really good reverse racism, though. It's like, yeah, finally the white guy's getting busted by this wonderful black lady judge who for sure is going to take him.
Yeah, her person that she got the job, right? The lady is like, I have no skills. I'm just a house mom. Well, I think that's a lot of skills, right? Hooks her up and they switch. And finally, now that it's not some fucking other white guy judge,
Yeah.
he gets the fucking hammer dropped. And that I got to say again, I love the fire in front of her face as she watches him get dragged out.
I love that practical effect.
There is the end of the movie's a little, I don't know. It's a little weird because Ed Begley Jr. is trying to run his game when they go to prison, and he's like, maybe when I get out, I could come make some lasagna for you. She's like, well, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Because earlier she said I almost felt sorry for him,
Almost.
And
Yeah.
she's kind of trying. And what's the line? People can change. That's why you can't give up on them, right? So I was like, is the end of the movie saying that there's a chance she's going to take this guy back because she's crushed him down to zero?
I feel like
Not because it ends with her strutting with their army.
I think to me it ends with her struggling with her army. I think it has less to do with like, oh, he's reformed because life I found a way to make life smack him in the face. Like, I crushed him down to his size. But
I feel like she should give up on him. Her lesson in the movie's wrong.
I mean, I don't think it's a matter of like giving up on him. Like, she's not trying to get with him. I think just the power dynamic shifted. So she's taking control of her own. She's taking control of her own life. Like, she doesn't need him. If she wants him, then she treats him like he's treated every other woman.
Yeah. I think you leave him in there to fucking rot. Never talk to him again.
Well, he gets out in a couple months and he can make lasagna.
Have to give up on that guy specifically.
Although he burned lasagna like a jerk.
He did burn the prison lasagna. That guy's going to have a rough weekend.
Tell me Ed Begley Jr. did not just get Shawshanked for burning the lasagna. There's no way.
Yeah, you get fucking murdered in prison.
Like, that guy was so nice about it.
Everyone can't eat because you burned the lasagna, you're going to suffer.
That guy was so nice about it. You jerk. That's it. That's all you're going to do. Punch him in the face.
No one in the movie can be worse than Ed Begley Jr. It's impossible. I don't care what crime that guy committed to get in there. He's better than Ed Begley Jr.
It is a maxim of the logic of the film. No one can be worse than Ed Begley Jr. Every murderer in that prison was so much less of a shitty person than Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah. So what's your final takeaway from this rewatch of She-Devil?
She-Devil is a very entertaining movie. It has it does this job of making you root for someone that does something pretty reprehensible. Like, look, I don't care how pissed off you are. Blowing up your own house is not great. So starting the movie off there.
She was like the fucking, what is it? Ratchet and Ratchet or Cratchit, whatever. From A Christmas Carol, Bob Cratchit, right?
Yeah,
she had to shake those fucking ghastly chains off, dude.
That's a good way to put it. This is like Bob Cratchit's revenge, essentially.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun movie to watch
Scrooge
now.
was putting his dick in the Christmas turkey.
It's a fun movie to watch now, and dare I say it, this movie should be remade.
Yeah,
I do think so. This has a very remakeable quality to it, not in a bad way. Like, She-Devil, the movie itself is very fun.
It has that so.
It's very relatable for like the
point
world
of
we live in
view
right
is
now.
So specific to when we were kids, right?
Yeah,
where you were supposed to have dad go work and mom kind of stay at home. It feels very of that era.
Right.
So you'd have to update a lot of that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's what I mean. Like, it's a very updatable story, which is why I think you could remake this very easily and make it very relevant. I mean, the concept is still very relevant now.
There's plenty in the news that I could imagine female audiences wanting to fucking riot and make people pay. I get
Agreed.
it.
I'm all for it.
Get it. Yeah. No, I don't know. I found it to be a really entertaining movie.
I'm glad Roseanne got away with it.
It's so mean-spirited that at times you're just like, Jesus H. Like, give me something here. And then, you know, they're like, what about a dead dog? You're like, nope. Even meaner. Not right. That's not the correct answer. But yeah, at the end, it was really I thought Ed Begley Jr. was just so entertaining to watch. He's so funny.
Before we get out of here,
okay.
there are two things that, because we do this sometimes, like especially with movies like this, where we talk about the relatability, the rewatchability, the remakeability. In other worlds, there are actors that were considered for these roles. Obviously, the Meryl Streep thing we talked about. So for Bob Patchett, you're going to love this. One of these particularly, I think you probably would have been like, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. There are probably like 6 or 7 people here that were considered for Bob Patchett. There's Harrison Ford, Richard Dreyfuss, Robin Williams, Michael Douglas, which I'm like, we already did that one.
Yeah.
Like,
too hot. Him and Harrison Ford obviously are slinging dick everywhere.
Chevy Chase, Robert De Niro.
Yes.
Steve Martin. Yes. But here's the one that I think you'd be like, why wasn't that made? Charles Grodin.
Oh, Charles Grodin. The thought of Charles Grodin just fucking being a poon hound is kind of entertaining to me.
I know, right? That's
because I feel like his secretary would be like, "Oh, you want a blowjob, boss?" He'd be like, "God damn it, I got forms to do. You think these forms do themselves? Blow yourself!" And he like fire her. I'm for more Grodin across the board. I think of that list though, the two that jumped out to me is Richard Dreyfuss.
I know,
Weird.
right? Weird.
And fucking oh god damn it, I forgot the other
De Niro?
De Niro. Yeah, that's scary. He's like, "Oh, you're a devil? Oh, you're a devil? You want to see a devil?" And then it's just, Roseanne's getting fucking left in the cornfields with Joe Pesci. that's a strange casting.
All right, and these are the other actresses that were considered for Ruth.
Okay.
Kathy Bates.
Sure.
Bette Midler.
Yeah, sure.
Catherine O'Hara.
Okay.
I think she's
She's
Michelle
great.
Pfeiffer.
She can do anything. Michelle Pfeiffer? What? No man fools around.
No man
on
would
Michelle
cheat on
Pfeiffer.
Catwoman. Come on.
I mean, I guess that's the thesis of the movie put to the test, right?
Barbara Hershey.
Yeah.
Jennifer Grey.
F.
Nobody's putting baby in the corner. Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Okay.
Ali Sheedy and Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner Overdrive. You know what? I actually might have picked Roseanne out of that group.
I think I would have too.
Kathy Bates is a far superior actress.
True.
But I don't think Roseanne is a dramatically worse pick than that list.
No, I actually think Roseanne is the right casting given this list, for sure.
Okay.
I'll take
Interesting. Yeah.
Other
De
worlds,
Niro
man.
versus Kathy Bates, She-Devil, though, and just goofy Ed Begley in the middle would have been so bizarre.
Yeah, shit, actually, now I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
Damn it.
They're just taking turns fucking hobbling Ed Begley.
I'm gonna have to find that I'm gonna have to find that multiverse where that happened. That's what I'm looking for.
I don't know, man. It was a strange film. It's of its time. I did find myself very entertained, though.
I did.
I truly did.
It's a remake.
Let's do it. Hire us. Hire us for Jason Momoa and Tom Hardy and Eva Green. The most murderous and bloodiest she-devil ever.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I want to go like full on like murder.
You want to just go straight up horror, like that's
instead of a dog, they have Black Phillip as a pet.
yeah.
Hail Black
It's
Phillip.
like it's like Changing Lanes, but like really bad.
Yeah, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre marriage. That's what I want. Neither here nor there. That's it for She-Devil. I hope you guys enjoyed the start to the Pod Done It month. We have some awesome movies coming up on deck. We have really great stuff this month over on Patreon, patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. You can vote on the exclusive movies. You'll get some commentary, some other fun stuff we got over there. As little as $1 a month, guys, you can get in and check out what we're doing. Every dollar is greatly appreciated. The email, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. The YouTube, Film Alchemist. We're on all the socials you're on. Make sure you leave those ratings and reviews everywhere you listen to podcasts. We appreciate it. I can't wait to commit some more crimes.
I want to say this.
Okay.
Before we do it, before we release it, watch the movie Thoroughbreds, please, because it's really good.
Thoroughbreds is fucking awesome.
I'm
this
really
month,
excited to talk about Thoroughbreds.
We've been on a great run of movies. Yeah. I feel like we're doing a great job curating this second half of the year so far. Just nailing it to the
really
wall.
crushing this curation.
I'm not here to toot my own horn. I was hoping you would do it for me, but if I got to,
you're doing a nice job, Griff. Well done.
Well, it's a we. You toot me, I'll toot you. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
And then we'll both let Ed Begley Jr. toot us.
And then I'm going to let Ed Begley. Damn it, you beat me to it. Shit.